This conference will now be recorded.
So let us begin. Have you all done with the Git setup on your laptop?
Yeah, Preeti. Yeah.
So yeah, let us go to our Git repository. Get the path of this from the command line. Hope you all have done the Git setup yesterday, right? Like installing Git, launching your Git server. I believe you all have done with that. So let us go to the directory where we have our folder. On the desktop, we have this is the folder, right? This is the directory where we initialize it. So let us get the path and go to the directory with the cd command. So yes, we are on this particular folder. And if we see, we have 3 files and all the 3 files were added into the local repository. When you see the status, you could see the status as like clean. So it is all perfect. Now that we could see all the files and the working directories, let us look into a new scenario. So till yesterday, we have seen creating new files, isn't it? Like we have seen creating a new file or else making some changes. Let us talk about deleting a file, right? So anything is a change, isn't it? You're creating a file or else modifying a file, deleting a file. Anything is a change. So let us work with these changes. Let us try to delete it. Nitin, you have to zoom it from your end. You will have a zoom option. I'm sharing the full screen. How will you visualize it? You have to zoom it from your end. Okay, so to delete the files, git rm file3 file3.txt. Okay, so the file is deleted. Okay, you don't have the file, and if you check the status, it will show you like changes to be committed. See here, you have to understand one point. Whether you make a change, whether you delete a file or make a change or anything changes, you should commit the change, right? So let us commit it. Git commit -m deleted file from both. See, whenever you do git rm, it will be deleted completely, but from both from working directory and local repository. Okay, and if you see the status, okay, you could see that on branch master, nothing to commit, working tree is clean. You can see this way. Okay, so again, if you see the status on branch master, right? Perfect. Now I don't have this file3 here as well as here also. I could not see the file anywhere. Completely it was deleted both from working directory and local repository. So this is one way of deleting a file. Okay, let us talk about deleting the other way as well. Increase the font size. Okay. Oh. Is it okay? Is the font size legible for you?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. All right. So this is one way of deleting a file. Now let's take up a use case. Suppose now I want to delete a file only from my working directory. Okay, sorry. I want to keep it in my working directory, but delete only from my local repository. Let's assume, see, I am having 2 files now, file 1 and file 2. Okay, let's say file 2, I want to keep it in my working directory, but not in local repository, meaning let's say it's some executable file, or else it's an exe, an executable file, or else it's a log file, or else it's a documentation. Okay, I want to keep it in my folder. In this folder, I just want to keep it. Sorry, in this folder git demo, I want to keep it. but I don't want Git to track it, or else I don't want Git to version control it. Okay, so how to do that? In that case, we can do that by git rm cache file2.txt. Okay, so if you do the git rm, okay, git status on branch master, changes to be committed, you can see this way. Okay, changes to be committed, and the untracked files you can see this way, right? So git rm cache will delete the file go from the local repository, but not from a working directory, because see, it is deleted on the branch master. Changes to be committed means, can you tell me where is this file to? See, obviously, first thing is whenever you make a change, committed. Okay, let me change. It is saying changes to be committed. What is to be committed? The deletion should be committed. So git commit -m deleted file from both local and working directory. Okay, so now check the status. Why are we seeing this status? Anyone? Why do we see this untracked file? Why are we seeing it? If you can answer this question, means you have understood Git thoroughly. Anyone? Why are we seeing this?
The file in working directory.
Can you elaborate more?
We deleted the file in local.
Okay.
The file
Yeah, I
available
think
in
you
working
got the
directory.
point. You are correct. Actually, we should say like it is like a new file, isn't it? It's in a working directory. It's not staged. It's not committed. Obviously, it's again like a new file. Whenever you create a new file, it would be showing like untracked file, right? The same way it was showing. Am I correct?
Yes.
Right, so it's like a new file, it's like again a new file. We deleted it from staging area and everywhere, so it's like a whole new file. So obviously it was showing us this kind of message. So it will keep on prompting at add and commit. But okay, I want to keep the file in this directory, in this folder git demo, but I don't want git to version control it. Where could these scenarios come up? Maybe a scenario like, let's say, let's say, like already I said, this might be a log file or an exe, an executable file, a binary, or else let's suppose it is something like a documentation, right? A project notes, a project documentation. I want to keep it, but I don't want Git to version control. But Git will keep on version controlling whatever you have in this folder. Let's say, see, diagrammatically also I'm showing you beside this. Let's say this is git demo. Okay, in this folder you have file2.txt. Okay, git will be keep on tracking it. Yeah, git will be keep on tracking whatever you have in this, because we did git in it. It's a local repository, right? So git will be keep on tracking. But I want git to exclude certain files from tracking. So how can we achieve it? If you don't want git to track them, you can say like git, yeah, how can we ignore? That's where comes ignore file. Okay, I want git to ignore this file. I don't want git to track this file. So what I have to do, I will create another file called .git ignore. Okay, create a file called .git ignore. And here you can put some details like file names, whichever you don't want to version control. I don't want file2.txt to be version control. Okay, so okay, I don't want this to version control. So now git add file2.txt. I'm sorry. See, I have added it to version control. I mean, I have added it to ignore. Check the status now. Do you see that? Interesting, isn't it? File 2 is no more version control. Rather, it was showing git ignore. Because git ignore is also, after all, another file, right? It is like any other file. So add this also. Like any other files, add git ignore. Commit this. Git commit -m. Some message like added ignore file, created ignore file, whatever it is. So done. Now if you do git status, it's not a version controlling a file 2 because see file 2 is in working directory, but file 2 is not in local repository. Git ls files is not showing file 2, but still git is not bothered about it. Understood. This
Preeti,
dot ignore is very important file in real practice also. This is very important. There might be some files where there might be some sensitive data. When we go to Kubernetes, Ansible, there might be some files where there are sensitive data which we cannot share on repositories like GitHub. So those cannot be, those need not be version control. So this is how we can use dot git ignore.
so
Tell me.
Preeti, when so dot ignore file, so what is the is unless it is a another file, right? So do
Hmm.
you have added any other command for that for ignoring file 2?
Dot git ignore file is a component of git. It's like a git object.
Git,
Git
okay,
ignore.
component. But did
Yeah.
you add the file 2 into the dot ignore
Yeah,
into that
I
file?
have added it. I have
Okay,
added it. I have created this dot git ignore. Dot git ignore. Okay, I have added a file to it. Do you see that when you open the file? This is the file present. Name, file name should be added.
okay,
Good.
got it. Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, you may have so many files. Okay. Maybe you have to ignore so many files, let's say. Yeah, suppose all the files with the extension .log should be ignored. You can use while characters *.log means any file with extension .log can be ignored, right? That's how you can manage multiple files by using git ignore. We'll be using this git ignore in Terraform as well. Okay, so you will see practical implementation of it. Here I am showing you with the dummy files. Once we create our real projects as a DevOps person, how we can use .git ignore also, we will discuss. Perfect. Now, yeah, it's all good. And if you see, we have made a bunch of commits. With git log one line, we can see the commit history. A bunch of commits are there if you see this. Yep. So, okay, fine. I have some bunch of commits here. Everything is good. So, how do you undo any particular commit? Means what is meant by undo? What is the dictionary meaning of undo? I believe you all know the meaning of undo. So, what do you think? What is undo? Undo anything. What is meant by undoing?
Back to the previous state.
Yeah, means it is like a reversing, isn't it? Means, for example, if I have created a file, undo will delete it, right? Or else, if I have deleted it, undo means it will create a file, correct? It's like reversing the things. Same is the case here. I have done a bunch of commits. Suppose I want to undo a set of commits. Okay, I want to undo a bunch of commits. How do you do that? Any commit, if you want to undo, there is something like revert. Listen carefully here. Revert is also like a commit. Whenever you revert, a new commit ID will be generated. Let's suppose there is some commit ID called A. See, because I cannot remember, I cannot write this alphanumeric, I am referring the commit ID as A. A means, let's say 5B6615D, that particular ID. So if I undo this, okay. If I undo this particular commit, another commit will be created. Correct? Like I said, revert will create a commit ID. Okay. So whenever if there is a commit ID called A, if I revert it, commit ID B will be created. Again, I can revert it. Again, I can revert it means another commit ID will be created. But this C is same as A. Am I correct? Understood what I am saying? Agree with this, all of you? Suppose, let me tell you with a scenario. Suppose committee A is there. Okay, I have created a file here. Okay, I have created a committee, right? So here, whenever you like, let's say I have reverted it. Let's say file is deleted. Okay, commit ID B is generated. Again, I have reverted it. Means reverting the revert. Of course, another commit ID C is generated, but it means again creating it. So you are back to the previous. Got the scenario, everyone? Understood? We'll demonstrate this. What we'll do is we'll first undo a commit. Okay. So we'll get a commit ID. We'll undo that again. Means we'll revert the revert so that we get the previous state. Shall we go for demonstration? Let's see. How do you revert? Git revert. Let's say I'm reverting this. Means whatever changes happen during that commit will also be reverted. Means suppose in this commit ID I have added ignore file. So ignore file will be deleted. Let's run this. See, like a commit, it will generate a commit ID and also it will prompt for a revert message. Give some message like reverting ignore file. Save it. Okay, so yes, it has reverted. If you see the log, like I said, every revert will generate a commit ID. Okay, so reverting ignore file, commit message. Check the status. Why you are seeing file 2 tracking again? Why are we seeing file 2 being tracked again?
Because
Because
we
it is
just
treated as a new file.
Yeah, because ignore file is deleted. This is being controlled. This is being version controlled again. Got it, everyone? Right? So, yeah.
It creates a new file.
No, ignore file is deleted, right? Yes, of course. It's like a new file again because it's not ignored. Ignore file is deleted. So it is being tracked by Git again, like it's a new file, right? So if you can also see the hidden files. .git ignore is no more. It's gone. Now I want to get it again. I want to get the ignore file again. I could revert this revert. Whether it is revert ID or commit ID, you don't have any difference. I would like to revert it. Git revert that particular commit ID. Okay, some message. Okay, so that. Git revert. Yeah, let us see the log first. Git log. Do you see here? A new commit ID is generated. You could see here like FC and all a new commit ID. And now also let us check the status. Yeah, do you see that it's clean? Means ignore file is back. You can see that yes, .git ignore file is back. Interesting, isn't it? Git is really an interesting tool if you follow correctly. Yeah. Alright, you are seeing it back. Means why do you need this? Where do you do this operations? See, as a person, when you are working in a project with multiple files, at times you may have to delete them. At times you may have to create them. Maybe sometimes you may have deleted by mistake. You may want to get them back. So this is how it works. Am I clear with this? Any questions in this part from anyone? Got it, all of you?
So I have a question regarding this, right?
Oh,
So
tell me.
as you said, a git ignore is a component of a git, right? So why we
Mm-mm.
need to create if it is a component? So why can't we it is like a pre-existing module in the git within the git?
See, it is git ignore is a git object. Okay, git knows what it should do when you have git ignore. But all projects don't need this dot git ignore, right? Maybe or may not be, isn't it? Why
Yeah,
do we need
probably.
this? Hmm,
So,
tell me.
if it is a, for example, if it has any pre-components, so the components details, if it is like a load modules or maybe the build modules, it is automatically have those things, right? So similar kind of thing like a dot gate, right? So it's similar kind of not have a like components will not be there, like dot gate, like
Is
dot
a
gate.
file which Git understands. That's all. It will not be pre-built or it will not be pre-available. Okay, we have to create the file if we want to ignore any files in our project. If you don't want to ignore any files in your project, it's not required. Okay, it's not like maybe if you are comparing it with any other frameworks or tools, it's not that how it works. It is a
Okay.
file which Git understands. Okay, if there is a dot Git ignore, anything in it should be ignored. That's all Git knows. Got
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
Because it's not mandatory. Only upon requirement we will create it. Okay. So here I told you like maybe a log file, an executable, or else in any sensitive data might be there. In those cases, you can ignore. Right. The practical implementation in a real project, how you see dot git ignore also, we'll see as we go through our configuration management tools and so on. But by default, it will not be available. All right. So yes, that's about the reward. Let us look into another important option. Can I move ahead or any questions from anyone? Any questions, let me know. By now, yeah, we are seeing a bunch of commit IDs, like a commit history. We are seeing a huge commit history, like maybe a 10 commits also we are seeing here, right? Suppose if you want to undo any particular commit, let's say, okay, let's suppose, okay, this is the commit history. I'm developing this project from past 1 month. I realize I don't want this top 5 or else latest 4 consecutive or else successive commit IDs. I don't want them. Means let's say last 1 week work I don't want. How do you get rid of those successive commit IDs, successive 4, successive 5, whatever it is? Right, Laurels, let's say last 1 week work I want to get rid of. So that's where reset comes into picture. This is again an advanced concept. Reset, 1 second please. Okay, it's a reset and then revert. Let us try to analyze the differences between them, reset and revert. If you just see here, reset and revert. A reset is like I want to get rid of successive 4 commits or 5 commits, whatever. Successive commit IDs, if you want to get rid of, that's a reset. Revert is any random commit ID you can get rid of. Okay, that's the first thing. And reset is called as a most destructive and powerful command. Let me put it here. It's called destructive and powerful. You cannot just go and use it whenever you want or wherever you want or else a regular way. It's not a regularly used command, very rarely used because once the changes are gone forever. See, suppose I want to get rid of top 4 commit IDs. Okay, if they are gone means whatever changes in those commits will also be wiped off. They'll be completely wiped off from the log history as well as the changes happened in those commits will also be wiped off. Okay, completely it will be wiped off. So that is called means changes gone are gone forever. You cannot get them back. So you should be very careful. It means that it will not generate any commit ID. If you have commit ID, you could revert it and get it, but now commit ID is generated. Here some commit ID is generated. So you can revert the revert and get the changes back. Got it, everyone? So those are the basic or the main differences between reset and revert. Let me show you how do you do. You can do it in 2 ways. Git reset hard. Suppose I want top 3 or else let's say top 4, whatever you have. Okay, you have head hard, head tilde 4, right? So it will delete the top 5 or top 4 uh, commit IDs. It will get rid of this top 4 as well as the changes during those commit IDs will also be gone. Let me show you. Git reset order. And one more thing, there is a pointer in Git called head. Head is a pointer which always points the topmost, the latest commit. But because I have removed them, your head will be pointing. This becomes a topmost commit ID. That's what it says. Head is now at E9, means head is here. See the log now. See, head is changed. This became the topmost commit ID. Top 4 commits were. Got it, all of you? Suppose I want to get rid of these 3 as well. Let's say another 4 I want to get. You can do this way, head tilde 4, or else you can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, you can also do this. Okay, reset hard the commit ID. Now if you see the log, yeah, this should become the topmost commit ID. Actually it was there itself, only one I have deleted. Suppose I want this to be the topmost commit ID. Git reset hard, give the commit ID whichever should be the topmost or else wherever your head should point. Done. Okay, now if you see only 2 commit IDs. This is how reset works. You can use head tilde and whatever number of commit IDs you want, or else you could just say the particular commit ID whichever will be the topmost commit ID. Got it, everyone? Understood? And the changes gone are gone, completely wiped off. You cannot get them back. Understood? Am I clear?
With a from real-time scenario, so the history, so if we are maintaining the history, is there any, so at what scenario we are going to delete the history, this log? So is
Yeah,
every
that's
time,
what. This is very rarely used, first of all. Like I said, this is very rarely used. Okay. Like I said, it's a destructive and powerful command. It's not a regular command. Very rarely used. And this reset, this type of reset, you may use for your local repositories. If you remember and recollect the things, we were still on local repository, isn't it? We didn't go to remote it. So it is confined only for myself. No other changes are here. Those are my personal changes. So if I feel like I don't want to proceed with those changes, if I am sure, I may do this. Because let's say client requirement completely changed. Okay, they were not at all having this requirement. They are completely deleted. So there's no point of maintaining it. Am I correct?
yeah,
So that's where you may be doing it. Any questions? Any more questions? So reset is very rarely used. It's not a regular command. If you are sure you don't want some particular requirements, which are no need to maintain the log history also, in that case you may just delete them. And this is confined. This type of reset is confined for local repository. Okay. And
Ma'am,
when
one question. Like revert can be reverted again, but reset can't be revert again. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
yeah, you
Okay.
cannot get them back because that's what reset will not generate a new commit ID. It will not generate a commit ID means you cannot get it back. You cannot revert, right? Because revert command needs commit ID. It's a logical. You learn it in a logical way. When you are trying to do run git revert command, you should provide commit ID. Whenever you are doing reset, a particular commit ID is not generated, so you cannot revert it. Whereas revert command, it generates a commit ID means you can revert it. You can undo the revert, but you cannot undo the reset.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Hmm.
So this is one thing, and there is also type of reset which we'll talk about when we go proceed further. Before that, let me tell you, whenever you are learning this reset, you might be finding different types of resets. Like I have shown you hard reset, you have soft reset, you also have mixed reset. Okay, there might be some confusion around it. As a DevOps person, we don't need to go to that extent. But if you see somewhere like a soft and reset, to avoid any confusion, I'll give you an overview. Okay, so that it will be very easy. Otherwise, there's a lot of confusion over this topic. It's a bit advanced part. Let me tell you this types of resets. Just an overview is enough for us. This chart will clarify all the questions regarding those types. This chart makes the things simple and easy. Okay, let's say hard reset, soft, mixed. Working directory. Staging area means what happens with each reset, where changes happen. With the hard reset, your changes are gone from everywhere. Okay, they are removed from here, here, as well as here. That's why whenever we do hard reset, like whatever I have shown is hard reset, you cannot get them back. When if you do soft reset is nothing but instead of hard flag, you'll put soft flag. Okay, in that case, your changes will be removed from here, but still your changes will be there in the staging area. Okay, and in the mixed reset, your changes are gone from here, and from here, your changes will be there in the working directory. Understood? Means if you do soft reset, if you want to get the changes back, what you should do? Your changes are in the staging area. So what you should do to get the changes back?
You need to commit the file.
You need to commit your changes. That's all. Commit the changes. Similarly, in mixed reset, if you want changes back to your local repository, what you should do?
We need to add and then commit the file.
Add and commit. Exactly. That's all. Okay, this is how different types of resets work, depending on whether you want to delete completely or whether you want to delete only from local repository. This is how you do. Right, that's about the reset. That chart will help you analyze the things, and if anyone interested can also do try doing some hands-on. How you can do the hands-on is, here first we have done hard reset, right? First 4 commits you can do hard reset. Okay, then after doing this reset, check the status. It should be clean. Status will be clean here because changes are removed completely, okay, from everywhere. And when after that, next 3 you can do soft reset. Only the flag changes. Instead of hard, put soft. That's all. You might have some 10 commits also, right? Next 3 do soft reset. Check the status. What should be the status message showing in case of soft reset? Can anyone tell me?
Track.
What would be?
Track changes to be committed. It will show.
Exactly, exactly. It is changes to be committed. Good, you're following well. Yeah, changes to be committed, right? Because it is in the staging area. So if you want, you can commit, or else if you don't want, you can discard them. Right. Next thing is, next 2 commits you can do again mixed. If anyone want, you can try doing this hands on this way. Again, whenever you check the status, what would be showing like?
It's untracked.
Untracked, because it's like a new file, it's in a working directory, so it would be showing like a untracked. Okay, so this is how you can check the, do the hands-on. Just execute it from your end and see what is happening. That is the right way to learn. Okay, you first do the hands-on of whatever scenarios I'm doing in the class, or as well as try your own scenarios, experiment the things. You may be having some idea what happens if we do this way and all. Definitely try them, experiment them from your end. Okay, so this is how the reset works. And finally, you can see like its status is clear, perfect, and I'm having this log. As of now, this is the log I have. It's all good. I'm having two files, both are being version control. So this is about reset, revert, ignoring, and so on. So now let us get into another advance and the real concepts, like the concept which helps in the real projects and the concept which is making Git so famous, so widely used, mainly the branching concepts in Git. So shall we proceed to the branching concept? Branches in Git. See, whenever you do status, you might have noticed that on branch master, right? It was showing like on branch master. What is this master branch? What are the other types of branches? Why do we need it? Let's talk about it. Before talking about it, let me show you one more interesting part, which the way we implement in real time. See, you may open your file if it is Linux. If you want the command line mode, you may use Vim editor and do it. Or else, if you are comfortable, you may edit your files this way, just like in Windows, you can do it. But better you know the command line. Okay, slowly, eventually, you should be working with the command line. Okay, that is one way. Also, in real time, whenever, like if I'm a Terraform user or I'm a Kubernetes developer in the sense who manages this Kubernetes configurations. Okay, what we can do is you can manage your files through an editor. I believe you all know an editor, right? Editor is which helps you to write your files, to edit your files in a better way. So nowadays, companies are looking for an experience with the editor also, which there is an editor which is very widely used, which is called Visual Studio Code Editor. Okay, this is an editor. See, Visual Studio Code, code editing redefined. Code editing means developers will use it, testers will use it, ours, DevOps teams will use it to configuration files like Kubernetes config files, Ansible config files, and so on. So everyone should be used to this. So if you just go to the official documentation, there is a download button, okay? Or else according to your operating system, either Mac or Linux or Windows, you can download it. Okay, and run the executable. That's all. It is self-explanatory. Once you download the exe, run the exe. Means double click the exe. I believe you all know how do you install softwares in Windows. So download the exe, and this is how your Visual Studio Code editor looks like. Companies are looking for experience using this editor as well. Okay, so here initially you will see an empty page. Okay, you will see an empty page initially. Go to file, open the folder. You can open the folder for Git demo here. Okay, whatever, this is another way to create your files and manage your files. That's all. And this helps you when you're managing Terraform config files, Kubernetes config files. This editor will help you for syntax highlighting and auto completion. So that's another advantage. So for now, yeah. See, do you see that our folder is launched with the two files? You can also modify them here. Instead of using Vim editor, or else instead of using the GUI part of Windows by right click and creating or managing, you can also do this way. Got it? It's very simple. Rather than you using Vim editor, this is how you can use. Also, if you go to terminal, launch the terminal. You have a command line, PowerShell in Windows, like command line mode, or else here you can choose, I want Git bash. You can launch the same Git bash window, whatever I'm seeing here can be seen this way. Here also I can run the commands rather than using Git bash. But first of all, if you want to see Git bash here, Git bash should be installed. Got it, everyone? Following. So this is an editor, and this is the realistic approach. Because see, let us imagine I'm a DevOps person, I'm writing some Kubernetes config files. Okay, maybe I may be developing in my laptop, I may be writing those files. Your Kubernetes files, for example, would be like this, deploy.yml file. Okay, I may be writing something here. Okay, on my local computer. That is one method. Or else, this is one method. Or else the same editor, let's say I have my Kubernetes files on a remote server. So you can use the same Visual Studio Code editor to connect to remote server. How do you connect? From here you can connect. Okay, from here you can just connect your Visual Studio Code editor. Right? I'll show you how to connect to remote servers from your VS editor, VS Code. So for now, yes, this is how you can do. So every command you can run like git status. That's all. So don't get confused. If you are comfortable this way, you may use this. But this is the realistic approach. Slowly, eventually, you can switch to the different ways of management. Okay. Now coming back to the concept of branches. Yeah, whenever you see git status, here you can see something like on branch master. It's like showing like on branch master. I'm sorry, there is some background noise. Yeah. So it is showing like on branch master. So what is this branch master, right? So you can consider whenever we create any repository, like we created some Git repository, which is this folder, right? And we created some files. By default, there will be a branch called master, means whatever changes you make, whatever files you create, everything will be set to be on branch master. Everything will be said to be on the branch master. You can imagine this master branch is like a folder, a virtual folder. Let us say this is your Git demo. Okay, this is a Git demo folder. In this folder, you have different branches. You can imagine master branch is like a virtual folder. Okay, this is your master branch. And by default, whenever you create any files, anything, by default they are set to be on master. They always, your changes will be on some other branch. By default, they'll be on the master branch. It's a default branch or the main branch. Okay, perfect. Let's say I created some file 1 here, file 2. Okay, perfect. Work is happening. Here I'm working for some requirement 1. Some changes for requirement 1 are happening here. This is requirement 1. Okay, this is a functional requirement 1. Okay, I'm working on. Let's say client came up with another requirement 2. Okay, I need to work on the second requirement. And the second requirement, file 1 and file 2. Okay, second requirement is happening. Right? So for second requirement also, I want to work on the same master branch. Imagine if everything is in the same folder, means files are same, I want to modify, but code changes are different. If I just keep everything in the same branch, 1 second, I'll just, okay, initially everything is on master. Requirement 2 also is on master branch. Okay, same files, but changes are different. Okay, if I do this after a few days, can I differentiate between the changes of requirement 1 and requirement 2? Can we differentiate them better? Is it possible? Yeah. Will that be possible? No. That is one reason. Another reason is if I keep everything in the same folder, let's say requirement 1 should be released for May. this should be released for August. Is that possible again? Means pushing to remote. For now release we didn't discuss. So just understand, I want to push this requirement 1 to remote for May release. This is for August release. Is it possible? So how can we make it better? Also at some point of time the project, the code gets messed up. I cannot identify which is for requirement 1, requirement 2. So rather than placing everything on the same branch, what we can do is, initially I will put everything on the master branch, right? Initial code changes were on the master branch. So for requirement 1, rather than requirement 2, rather than placing on the same branch, I could create a copy of this master branch. I could create a copy of this master branch, copy of this folder or master branch, whatever you call it. Name it as B1. Some name, anything, any name you can use. So rather than working on the same master for requirement 2, I could create a separate branch for requirement 2, so that the changes are separated, changes are differentiated. You can release them whenever you want. You are not messing up the original code. This is the concept of branching. You may create a branch from master, means which is an exact copy of master. They are exact copies only till you make it. After making it, they work like two parallel entities. Means whatever changes you make in master will not be visible in B1 and vice versa. They work like parallel entities. See, to make the things very simple, let me give you a simple example. Here I am having some folder or a project, whatever. Okay, I just want to make some changes, but I don't want to mess up the original one. What do? I'll just create a copy of it. Right? See here. Is the copy. So I'll make changes here. If I make any changes here, will it be default seen on Terraform, I mean the original folder? If I make any changes here, are they visible here?
No.
No, obviously no. The same is the case here. But if I want, I can just again take and put the changes there, right? Isn't it? So until then, they are like two parallel entities. So what is the concept of branching? Branching allows parallel development. Okay, parallelly you can work on multiple requirements, multiple projects, I mean multiple modules, or else you can allocate each branch for a separate developer, or else maintain separate branch for a release. For different releases, different versions, we can maintain these branches. Okay, and there are different branching strategies. The default branching strategy is master branch will be generally available for production. Okay, and the B1 branch will be then for like this is for master branch is for production, and this B1 branch is for, let's say, you want to modify, I mean you want to use it for your test purpose. Okay, test branch, make changes here. Then see, your branches could be maintained for two reasons: temporary purpose or permanent. Permanent means, okay, I want different releases, different versions, I can keep B1 also. Or else B1 is just like a trap. I want to test here, if it is working fine, I can move it to production rather than messing up the production code. Right? This is the default strategy. Master branch, we don't mess up. Master branch is dedicated for production. We create other branches, develop there. If they are working fine, then we push it to master. Means we merge it to master. That's called merging. Integrating changes from one branch to other is called merging. Understood? So yeah, this is the concept of branching. We can create a branch, we can do lot many things, we can play around with it. Like create a branch, delete the branch, or else if you want to maintain it permanently, that is also fine. If you want to merge it later on, you can delete it. There are different use cases and scenarios. This branching strategies in Git are so robust that makes the project maintenance so sophisticated, so well. Teams can collaborate better. You can maintain one branch for separate environment, like a staging environment, test environment, UAT. You could maintain separate branches for each environment. And that's how branching helps us. By default, you have only master branch, the main branch or the default branch. Now we could create child branch from there, work upon. If you want, you can merge it and delete it, or else you can maintain like a parallel branches. Got the concept, everyone, theoretically? Shall we go for the demonstration? Anything should I repeat? Okay. Okay, let me show you. This is the master branch. You could see here also. You could see on which branch you are in two ways. One is through git status. Another one is you can run git branch command. Git branch command will list all the branches, and it will also show you the asterisk symbol. Asterisk star symbol indicates on which branch you are in. As of now, there is only one branch and I am on that branch. Okay, if you want to create a new branch, git branch b1 master means the syntax is git branch, new branch name and the old branch or the parent branch. Okay, now if you see git branch, see b1 is created but you didn't switch to that branch, you are still on master. If you want to go to b1, git checkout b1. See, you are switched. Here you can see, first of all, next, when you list the branch, star is on B1, means you are on B1. Also, if you check the status, on branch B1, right? I am on branch B1. If I am on branch B1, now whatever commands I run are applicable on B1. ls means ls on B1. So on B1, I have the files copied. Also, if you see the log also will be showing log of B1. See, log also copied, commit ID is copied, files copied. But till now they are copies. Now onwards you work like two parallel entities. Shall we create some files on B1? Good to go?
So that means a file from master will automatically be copied to the different branch when we create.
Yes, when you create, yes, they were copied. But now if I go to master and create, it will not be there on B1 automatically. Only when you create a branch, yes, that is copied. Later on, they work like two parallel entities. Just to make
Okay.
the things clear, I'm repeating, okay? Now, yeah, we shall create some file here. You may again use Vim editor also here if you want, or else because I have this editor, I may also create this. Okay, file 3. A new file on B1, some dummy line I'm writing, save it. Like again, the story is same, whether it is on B1 or master. See, on branch B1, untracked. What should we do? What should we do now?
Add and commit.
Yeah. See here in the editor, it will be showing you U means unstaged. Add it. Okay, it will be seeing like staged. Now status changes to be committed. Let me commit it. Git commit -m on B1 changes, something like that. Okay, some message. Done. Now, if you see the status of B1, it is all clean. If you check the log, okay, it is all 3 commits and 3 files. Now, the third file, third commit are created on B1. Let me ask you one thing. Is this third file, is this third commit available on master branch or not?
No.
No.
It should
No,
not
no.
be.
No, right? Because it's like a parallel entity. When you make something in a copy, will it be originally, I mean, automatically seen in the original folder? Same is the case. If you want to verify, switch the branch. How do you switch? Check out master. See, now I came on master. See, do you see at the back end also you notice? You observe at the back end also. Only 2 files. Okay. And if you see the log also, only 2, right? If you switch again to B1, observe at the back and observe here in the Explorer. See, when I switch to B1, there is another file. right? Pretty interesting, isn't it? So come to master branch again. There were only 2 files and 2 commits. Okay, perfect. They were working like 2 parallel entities. Let's say my B1 branch is for temporary purpose. Okay, means I don't want to make much changes. It's like a temporary draft kind of. Okay, I have done my changes. I want to get the changes back. So what should I do? How do I integrate changes from one branch to another? Git merge B1 to master. What is this merge? Merge will integrate the changes from one branch to another, particularly from source. This is the syntax. Source and destination. Source means from which branch you want to get the changes. From which branch do you want to bring the changes? And
Yeah.
into which branch? So that's the destination is master. That is integrating or merging the changes. See, now at the back end, you can observe already. I have 3 files. I also have the commit ID. This is a simple merge. Simple merge means automatic merge, fast forward merge, or else merge without any conflict. There could be other ways of merge also where conflict arises, which is going to be again more advanced part. Before I proceed, any questions here in this part from anyone?
Ma'am, after merging, we don't have to do again add and commit for this master folder again because it has been already done for the branch B1, right, ma'am?
It depends on the type of merge. In our case, it is a smooth merge or fast forward merge means automatic merge. So not
Mm-hmm.
required. See, on branch master, it's clean. But sometimes, like
Mm-hmm.
I said, there might be a conflict. When there is a conflict, what is the reason for conflict, we'll see. Then you may have to take up necessary steps like add and commit. But now, as of now, not required.
Okay.
Fast forward merge means no conflict. It's a smooth merge. Why there might be a conflict, we have to discuss those scenarios.
So Preeti, can you please repeat how to create a new branch?
Sure. So this is how you create a new branch. Git branch, the new branch name and the parent branch name from where you want to create it. From which branch you want to create it. Any more questions?
Yeah, Priti, hi. See, if you have 10 different branches, under 10 different branches, again, child branches, around 10. So if you want to switch to particular, suppose ninth branch and then under ninth branch, third child branch, something like that. So how exactly we are going to give the path exactly with the like CD command or
No, git checkout
checkout?
commands.
Yeah, git
Yeah,
checkout and then
first check.
the path.
Oh, come again, please.
No, git checkout and then that particular master. See, if we have 10 different branches, so how we are going to switch to? I want to switch to ninth branch.
Git check out that branch name, that's all. If it is having again any child, first of all, you have to
Yeah,
switch
child.
to parent, then to the child.
Oh, okay.
First switch to that parent, then switch to the child branch under that parent.
Okay.
Okay, I
Okay.
have a few questions here, sir. So coming to this one, right? We have a working for working directory, staging, and as well as we have a local. So before to have to move to the changes to the production, right? So actual GitHub. So, but if we have the branches, so it will be replicated all these folders, or it has only for the particular only working directory, staging, and as well as the.
Everything will be replicated. Means, see, imagine like some time back I have shown you, this is your Git demo folder. Okay, this is your Git demo. Under this, these branches are like virtual directories. Okay, with respect to every directory, you have the Git architecture. Means this is a master. Okay, with respect to master, you'll talk about working directories, staging area, local repository. Same is the case with any other branch, either B1 or a B2 and so on. Okay, with respect to every branch, again you will have a working directory, everything.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
See, Git is very easy to learn and it is a wonderful tool. But hands-on is a mandatory and a must. Because it's a very clear or because it's simple, if you don't do hands-on, you cannot master Git. Because there's a lot of logical part here. Hands-on will help you master the tool, particularly Git. Listening will not do. So definitely do the hands-on. Okay, in the class, let's say you are 80% good. To achieve confidence, to expertise it thoroughly, do the hands-on. The hands-on will help you gain the confidence and master the subject. Okay, do the hands-on. You may be having some new questions after the hands-on, so get back to me. Okay, first do whatever scenarios we are doing in the class. First, you have to do that mandatorily. Once that is done, try your own things, experimentate and all. We are going to implement them in the other projects, other classes like Terraform class and so the branching with the conflict strategies are a bit advanced part. We have to see the logic, what happens at the back end and all. We shall take up from here tomorrow. But still, any questions you have, you can clear it now. Any questions regarding the lab setup, if you are stuck up during the hands-on, anything. And one more request is please post it in the group rather than posting the questions in the personal window. If you post it in the group, it will help others also because others may also have the same question, right? So that way you can we can work better. I have given access to the drive for all of you. Check it once again. If anyone missing the access, let me know. Anything else? Tomorrow we shall take up this branching strategy with the conflicts. Tomorrow, lot many interesting, advanced concepts are there like stash, rebase. Then we shall also talk about remote repositories if we have enough time. After these three, we can go for remote repositories. Again, conflicts on remote. We have to see multiple people working on the same file. That's what is a conflict on remote. All right, then we shall close here and we'll continue tomorrow. Any more questions, get back to me. Okay. Bye, everyone. See you all tomorrow. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.